It is so hard to not feel behind. It's May, I don't even know what day it is, you guys. It's May 17th, and I have not planted out any of my summer crops besides cucumbers that you watch me plant out. Like, which, granted, I'm not behind because technically our last frost date was the 15th. It just feels, when you have literally thousands of plants to plant, I just feel so behind. But there's nothing I can do about it, so I need to kick this bad mood that I've been in for days, stemming from, I got put behind on the weekend. I didn't get anything accomplished, and the weekends are like our big time to get things accomplished, because those of you that stay home and have working husbands know that the bulk of the things that need to get done happens on the weekends, because that's just how it plays out. We're usually really busy or tired during the week, and so yeah, I'm just feeling the stress of feeling like I'm behind, even though I'm really not that behind. We ended up buying landscape fabric. I'll put a little clip of it in here maybe. As much as I didn't want to use the landscape fabric because it's just more plastic waste, there's just no way that I can keep up with all these weeds. One of the problems with freshly tilled beds is that you're turning over the seed bank. So there are thousands, millions of seeds in the ground already, from the years of them just dropping there. And when you turn over the soil, it gives all those weed seeds that have been waiting on their time to shine, it gives them a chance to get water and sunlight and the space that they need to grow. So the whole thing is just exploding with growth, but not the good kind, the bad kind that you don't want. I'm going through my plants that I have been neglecting because I've been busy doing everything else. They desperately need pruned. They actually desperately need trellis. So you can see these old things are flopping around. They're getting pretty tall now, probably like knee high, and I just need a cable to run across the top so that I can trellis them, because I'm gonna trellis them just doing like the one string down and the 1 leader. But until then, I'll keep pruning. I'm really liking how the interplanting of green onions and tomatoes are going. Doesn't that look beautiful? They're getting nice and big. I have already picked a few to bring inside because I multi-planted these, or I multi-sowed these, so there's probably anywhere from like 4 to 10 in a bunch when I do it this way. And like this, I would just pick out the larger one, and you can just gently tease the roots away from his friends, and then you can take it inside and eat it, and it's delicious. I'm going through my poor neglected plants and pruning off the suckers. This sucker is good size, but there are some suckers that are almost tomato plant sized on these things. They grow so fast, freakishly fast. So, yeah. Let's see if I can find a big one. Like this guy is a sucker, and it's only been like 1 week since I've pruned last. So this is 1 week of growth. Suckers grow faster than anything I've ever seen. If I needed more plants, I would root this in water, but Jesus knows I don't need no more. So I'm not gonna, but that would be the perfect size to root in water. If you enjoy a green tomato, and not an unripe green tomato, like a green variety, like I do, then keep in mind this little tip for you, because they're very easy to not notice, and then they'll just get rotten because you keep waiting on it to ripen, but its ripe color is green. A lot of times it actually is like green with a slight yellow. So, but regardless, this is what I do to try to stay on top of picking green tomatoes, because there are a couple that I like literally can't live without, and it is, I love green zebra, and I love there's three. I love green zebra, I love green Berkeley tie-dye, oh, so good, and I love Cherokee green. I also grow Aunt Ruby's and Green Giant, and while they're good, they're not my favorites, but I still grow them. But I'm going to put them in this first row so that I can make sure that I pick them on time. Right here first, I'm going to plant Cherokee green, and I got these handy dandy plant tags like I used for my seedling sale. I'm going to bring them out here and label each one, and I know that might seem tedious, but as a seed saver, I really need to know what the varieties are to save the seeds. And you think that you won't lose this little tag? That's the first thing that gets lost. I about lost it right there, dropped it right in the hole. Or, yeah. So I'm just writing initials because I mostly know what these are. I'm just gonna pop it out of the pot. I'm gonna take the lower leaves off. Probably up to there. And ideally, I would plant this all the way up. All right, I am going to put the plant in the hole, and these holes aren't as big as I thought that they were, or as deep as I thought. But I have super hardy transplants this year, so I'm not that worried about burying them super deep. Normally, if your transplant is kind of scrawny, you can strengthen them by planting them deep, because tomatoes grow roots all the way up their stem. Like ideally, I would plant this here. But you know what? Not every situation is ideal, and it's going to be fine. So I put the plant tomato in the hole, and then I've got a bucket of compost. I'm just going to fill the hole back in with compost. Where'd my tag go? Right here. I've got my seedling in the ground, my little tag, and I know what it is. Now I'm just gonna go down the line and do that exact same thing all the way down. Well, I got one whole row done. I'm doing 50-foot long rows, and then I've got 2-foot spacing in between the plants. So I've got 25 per bed. The reason why I'm doing that spacing is because I'm going to trellis them differently this year. In the past, I've used cages, and I've also done the cattle panel trellis method, and then this year I'm trying the Florida weave method. So you just put a T-post every like 5 to 6 plants, and then you run a string kind of weaving them around. It just holds them up. I'm not gonna prune them a whole lot this year just because I'm gonna have so many things to do. So they're kind of on their own. So to battle that, I'm just gonna plant like 300 or more tomatoes, and it'll be fine. So I planted 1 row of slicers. But really the goal today was to plant the cherries, but like I said, I needed my husband to lay me down some fabric right here, so I planted those while I was waiting on this to be done. so we were multitasking. But now I'm going to start the cherries, and the goal is to plant all the cherries today. I'm not sure if I'm gonna get to it because there's a lot, and I hope I don't regret the amount of cherry picking I'm gonna do later, but they're delicious and everybody likes them. I'm going to put right here in this first row, because it's the first row that the kids will see, and our favorite is the sun gold. So I'm going to plant some sun gold here, and I also am going to try out the open pollinated variety, which is Sun Gold Select. Baker Creek offered that this year. So we're gonna see if it compares, and if it does, I will just kick out Sun Gold because it's a hybrid and I don't want to pay for the seed. If I could save the seed off something and it'd be very similar, so we'll see. I'm just trying to be more intentional with my planting this year. Okay, this is what I normally do. I spend all winter planning, designing, thinking, mapping it out. Then the time comes to plant it and I'm like, I don't need the plan. I'm just gonna throw this in here. And while it always works fine, I'm just trying to make the time to do it the way that I have pictured in my head. So here's me taking the time to do it the right way. I got all the sun gold in this first row. Well, it's kind of split 50-50 with the sun gold and the sun gold select, but I put them in the first row by the gazebo so that we can snack all summer long. And I would have done more today, but my husband's gonna bring home a different tip for the propane torch, because that little handheld one is just taking forever and the wind is constantly blowing it out. So we'll try again tomorrow. I can only do what I can do. Even though I only got 50 plants in the ground, which when you need to plant like 400, well, when you need to plant thousands, 50 really doesn't sound like a lot, but it does feel good to be working towards a goal, I will say. There's no hang-ups, I don't have to wait on anything. I have everything I need, so now I can just wake up and start planting and planting and planting and planting and planting. For the next 2 weeks, I will probably be planting. So I don't know. Ask me again how I'm feeling after the 2 weeks of planting is done. I might not be as enthusiastic, but then will come the time to watch everything grow. So I have a feeling this is going to be our best year yet. We're trying new things. We're expanding a ton. I've learned a lot in the last few years of growing. I feel like I know the basics now. And I just hope I can keep everything going. Keep everything afloat is the goal. It's not going to be perfect, but I can only do what I can do. And it's going to have to be enough. And maybe one day this thing will get big enough that I can get some employees. And then we can really conquer the world. Imagine that if I had help. But that's a dream for another day. Today was good for my soul. Today was good for my mental health. And the sun is shining. And I think it's going to be okay. Some days you cry. And some days you plant. And smile. And today was a smiling day. So I've got to go inside and make dinner now, I guess. The little humans would like to eat, even though I just want to stay outside. But thank you guys for hanging out with me today. Until next time.